The dome-shaped plastic boy bobs up.
We still got here too late. There's nothing of use here anymore.
A shaggy-looking girl in her late teens or early 20s kneels on the ice with an electronic
Oh.
Everyone knows drugs make you invulnerable to cold. You bet this one likes to party.
Huh?
Maybe she didn't hear you.
So should you.
You don't have to do anything.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, well... Look, man, fuck the hat.
Your pulse rises.
I'm sorry I said fuck the hat. I was concentrating on something else. My whole family swears and it rubbed off on me. A cell.
Her hair is dyed blonde, with dark roots showing. There's a coarseness to her features, some masculinity below that timidness.
Okay, it's Burger. This is a portable recording device. It's for field, actually just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone. A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like...
Your mangled brain would like you to know there is a boxer called Contact Mike. No, you're welcome.
The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The book said it only picks up structure-borne sound, if you like technobabble. Yeah, I record stuff with it. Sure. Same place I got the recorder from, the Elysium. Oh man, you haven't been to the Elysium? It's the coolest place in this whole drug-addled shithole. It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock. Musicians live there, like real musicians. I once saw Arno van Eyck. Oh yeah, guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck, or really be a Elysium-going kind of person. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either. That's cool. Sucks, man. Was there something else? About the contact mic, perhaps? Okay. Recording, I guess. I think I'm recording cracks in the ice, but there's no way to tell. Not without headphones. I think I just recorded your footsteps too.
What happened to the old headphones?
My boyfriend sold them. I don't know, man. Things. Just stuff you need for life.
A lie. They were probably pawned off for something suspicious.
The musicians in the Elysium used them for making music. They looped the stuff, cutting the tapes together. They make music out of cracks in the ice and keys jangling. Crazy sounds like that. It's hard to explain. Anyway, I thought I'd make some too. It's supposed to be, like, a music place anyway. I don't really know what I'm doing. They use synthesizers too. I don't have a synthesizer.
The sharp drop in endorphins is almost visible, like a warm blanket has fallen off her shoulders. The wave of chill, the quivering jaw.
Take this, you're cold.
No, man, fuck that, I'm cool. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry about the fuck.
It's okay.
Yeah, maybe you were right about the hat. That? The boys think it could be a place, like the Elysium or something. Stupid. It's...
And who are these boys?
Yeah, Andre and the...
And why is that?
They got too much stuff crammed in there. No room. Music stuff mostly. Like this tape recorder, but bigger. And there's piles of it. Yep, they were pretty. I'm sorry we sold those. That stuff is more expensive than I am. More expensive than any of us, really. Doesn't matter. I can take the cold. Thanks. Go ahead. It's supposed to become like a club, except that, yeah. You know, anodic, cathodic, music that's made with electronic instruments. Synthesizers and tape consoles, microcomputers too. Anything that uses electricity, but isn't guitars. Also found sounds, stuff like that. I know. It's not my idea. Andre and the boys found the place. It was supposed to be deserted, but now they can't even take it. Hey, don't get me wrong, but you're cops, right? Okay, well, maybe you could talk to Andre and the guys, because there are some strange things going on in that church. If you're police, you should... They're inside that thing there. Would be cool if you did. Was there something else? No. Not really, no. It's Noid's. To keep more weirdos from getting in. Fucking Martineaus. I'm sorry. It's got the worst weirdos. If you get around to it, ask Andre about them, he'll tell ya. Go ahead.
The device is cold to the touch. An angular Omicron logo adorns the yellow plastic cover. Underneath you see a reel of tape rolling. You put the device back on the ice.
Okay, bye.
A pane of Eternite has been planted, barely holding it up. It could fall over any minute. The pane falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk. The tent is just tarpaulin fabric covering a pile of stuff. The flap is open. Inside, 3 young men, all in forward-looking apparel, reminiscent of the sticker on the padlock, are listening to some new form of music.
Come on, get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out. Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead. I'm sure you will feel right at home.
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet you.
His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm.
This is my posse, Noid,
The young man with earrings looks at you.
and Egghead. Egg! Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers. We have many in the pipeline, officer. You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Oh, that's all for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues. Which brings me to the problem of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomania on the coast.
An attempt to pander to your perceived conservative sensibilities. No person his age would ever use a word like narcomania with a straight face. Don't fall for it.
I'm talking about the church, and I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads! Burnouts!
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. Nah, strike that, in Revachol.
Strike that! The world!
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts holed up in there are the worst kind.
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze, letting you imagine just how bad those dopeheads and good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
They're spooky. I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre and a place of spiritual refuge.
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse. People just wanna spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can dance like that.
Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for. All right, man. Oh, so you met her? Good, good. I did ask Noy to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. It's a temporary fix.
I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
Of course.
All right.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object makes a ka-ching. The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly. The speed freak nods a respectful nod. You proved something here.
Not long. Like a week, maybe? I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 85% sure they're still alive. Exactly. That's exactly what...
The cage of the rage! Rough blaze! Egg means the situation is monitored. It's relatively safe. No one has died yet.
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. The truth is, I don't really know. None of us do.
Glimpses? Who are these people? Secret agents? Stealth operatives?
Well, there's also the... When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together.
One of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires into water. Never seen it. Andre, tell him.
Oh, and it felt like there was something in their whip.
No.
Which other one? I'm not as in tune with my...
Felt like silence. Awful silence.
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone, or something, eyeing us inside. but that's kinda it. Like, you aren't alone, you know?
It wasn't quite human, if you know.
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling. Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling.
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behaviour. Crab man!
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. A cell was alone at time.
So he hasn't even been in there lately. Is he afraid?
You should ask her about it, but be nice. Don't tell her you don't believe in the crab.
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them.
With a small surge of PEA, alertness fills you, as if to say, this is a dark corner.
It means like one of those rich boy private radio stations, where you can listen to people.
Must be. Even Kuno knew that.
Not that we would know anything about that. Noid just likes to relay stuff.
He appears sincere enough, sire. You could, of course, be wrong.
We're getting derailed here. In short, you can tell to Noid about the machines. He'll tell you more. Well, honestly, I can't.
Why not? Let's go with that.
I'm 70% sure they're substance users. Don't let the technology fool you. Sure. What? Oh yeah, that's a meteor name for the founding party. Thought it'd be cool to use it. You know, of Meteo, concerning Meteo. Meteo, a country, on Muindi, on the Muindi Isla. Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know. I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a very powerful religious organisation. And they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericarnassian Church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They, like, made the... You're right, they do.
The Pericarnassian Church is about love, and Nordic music is about love. I got love for my pet. Love is hardcore.
Unity!
Unity!
Make some noise for my Insulindian posse.
You feel it. The anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the base, as if testing the waters. Feels good.
Oh yeah, it can.
He's coming around. You're getting it.
Yeah!
Do it for the masses.
I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you to imply otherwise. Anyway, you got...
The one with the large head is still looking at you. You feel like you could go for a little disco when, or if they get this club going. You've got it in you.
Yes. What? Yeah, good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church even is running water. Oh. It's the one they sell at the fuel station.
It's like he's lying to you, my liege. But he's slippery enough that there's nothing for you to grab hold of.
It does.
Told you we have a smell problem.
He sniffs the air. A shrug is good enough for us. Why say it when you can shrug it?
The what now? Oh, the old...
He's like an actor. Looking...
I have a major sinus infection. Stuffy nose. We all do. Shit's all blasted up. Winter. Can't even... Yes, that's all Nosefed's doing.
Nosefed is the shit.
Sure. Here you go, officer. The noser. Blast away.
He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
As always, we'll...
A young man with peroxide.
Hardcore! It's hardcore! Skibbity, skibber danger.
Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths, you think? The young man.
This is hardcore. It's hardcore! Skibbity, skibber danger. I am the rearranger. Back to the heavy. Hardcore! Hardcore! Hardcore to the mega. Internally coherent. All core! All right! Yeah!
He furrows his brow as his very large head
Hardcore! Ah! Is it though? But is it? I mean, really? I am the mic enforcer. I am the chick's checker.
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid. Good. It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Yeah, gotta compare. See if we can align. I suck at socialising, man. Even now, our sign synchronisation is way off. But I'll see what I can... A sticker? You mean the yellow one?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
Good, good. What did you want to know? Yes, you're the 23rd person to get it right. And I've asked 23 people. Looks like it's a dead guy smiling to the entire human race. We're all the same. Same eyes, same smiles, same death. He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are always already dead. How can we ever smile then? The present moment, and or maybe he's not...
Or drugged out of his mind, come to think of it.
Or drunk, or in a clinical coma, or glad to be dead. But those versions suck. I guess one could write an entire treatise on the thing. But what for? Nah. You heard me. Weird stuff. Specialised. Wires going into water. Gives off a spice. Nothing's wrong with it. You should definitely be researched. Most of it doesn't exist. But there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist. Because the moralists think it's too dangerous for the plebs. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases. The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be... Nah, you heard me.
The shaggy-haired girl.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? Shoot. Oh, that. You're not going to believe...
She's less prone to blurt it out, crab man, than the others.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next to one of those machines there. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother, you know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say... And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall. Upside down like a crab, down the church wall. He stopped right before he got to the floor, then just hung there like that, looking at me.
Like a crab, you say?
It was too dark. I couldn't tell exactly.
Come on. She obviously could. She already went into detail.
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff. Had a mesh tank top. I know it's...
A crab and a banger?
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like. Why? I guess so. Anyway, what else? My associates? I haven't got much to say about them. Of course I do. I just don't tell people about my friends and who they are and so on. I don't provide information on them. Me? I'm a silver bird. Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but...
There's a trap in the reeds at your behind you. The ruins of a residential building rise over. Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but
Big surprise. Anyway, one down. 3 to go. Surely. Anyway, the air is nice.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Correct. Meaning, this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something the manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. The sun blazes high up in the sky, baking the planks, the sand. A long time has passed since the moment. The abundance of bullet holes leads to a host of men, probably in everyday clothes. Ragged from the conflict and covered, they stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to... 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. So, the commandant, the one who gives the order, machine gun fire crackling through the air, the lights of the muzzle flashes dancing.
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the rep. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start.
Remember what Trent Heidelstein said about Veld?
Another likely scenario.
Or maybe...
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was a commandant.
A cold sea wind. This is the trap, the reeds by the abet. It's good the cryptozoologists left. The later it gets, the colder. This trap is also full of panicked...
Another empty trap. Always up for a good jog.
The reeds, it's good that the later it gets. This trap's not too. The reeds sway in the coastal. The wind picks up here, near the cape's end, surrounding nothing but locusts in this.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we are done. I'm just glad we haven't found some poor cat trapped in one of these.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest? In the distance, you can hear them.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freighter. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there, in the whirling in rags. It's not possible to climb that ladder, and even if it were...
It does look extremely rickety.
Those? A smoking assailant who favors Tumutiri to Astra or Joanne? Sick to warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps. But truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2 kilometer rifle shot from.
There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, blue from a glowing light on the third floor of the whirling in rags. With binoculars, smoking, drinking, being happy and elated, without you.
Hi, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer? Oh? Well, how can I assist you then, officer? Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with a 3-year warranty instead of a story. It's a wreck. From time to time, people need a lesson in No, I'm afraid not. Attempting to confiscate. Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Guess I enjoyed the way he bled. Gone.
It absolutely...
No. There's nothing to find. He didn't respect this. Now, before you tell me how sorry...
She really likes those muscles, though. It's in the way she pronounces sinewy.
Us working folk, life didn't really...
She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action. Oh yes, she does. You need to get your drink on. There is no other way for human beings to procreate. Not after 6,000 years of yeast cultivation-based mating rituals.
Okay. Where's this going? Absurdly and pointedly phrased. You can be quite funny, officer.
She doesn't even understand you asked her out. Perhaps you're too sober to pull it off. It takes you a moment. The reeds bend forlornly. The constant, distant, the trap feels no locus. No phasmid either. But your voice echoes on the coast.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others. Like someone or something picked up the trap and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground.
Good, good. We should be courteous and tell the cryptozoologist that one...
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything. I don't really... Uh-huh.
To the left of some cross... A colourful display of cigarettes and the bottles wink there, in that dark green glass. All in vain. The great, the beauty, the truth.
I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. But I guess you already know that.
Don't ask, don't look, don't do anything here. Just go away. Get back to work.
The pale age vodka is special, I guess. It's stored in pale for a couple of years, you know.
Don't worry your pretty little...
I mean, I already said it'd hurt you. I don't know what else they do. No, Frit only sells legal drugs, like the law.
A small cabinet on the wall is...
Saint Baptiste, you know. Saint Baptiste Pharmaceuticals. The one that sells meds.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign said, your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appeared. You're 100% sure you got special Hobocop money for that tear. At least 100% extra tear money, if the numbers on the machine told you otherwise.
Mr. Dubois, every worker... Ha ha ha! Mr. Dubois, so be it. How can I help you today? Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I helped you get the body down. And I'm helping you find your gun. I'm not a jealous guy. What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Harry! I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget.
It's hard to say if he really lost his temper, or if this is another one of his tricks. This man almost never angers visibly.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing...
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Mine was. Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at...
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with her.
It's a fortress. He knows she can't. He doesn't want to see her. It's...
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your... Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun.
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now. This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay.
No, you didn't. I know the mailman, Harry. I know everyone and everything. Just like I know you'll get it done. Once you stop horsing around, let me know when it's done. Yes, yes, the little...
You're already pretty deep into this. What's a little more? No...
By all means, Harry. What's on your mind?
dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito, bullet holes, and an RCM.
Yes, for sending mail.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. Probably did the right thing. You can't trust that slug Everard. You know.
All right, let's go back to Everard. If we don't mention anything to him, he won't know before it's too late.
There is a hollow ring as you kick the box. Your toe has suffered damage. It hurts.
Cool. You really showed that mail collection. I don't. Let's go.
Bent metal. Broken. You are the destroyer. The bane of inanimate matter. Look, there's a discarded milk carton on the floor. Why don't you destroy that, too? Kudos.
Mr. Now, what can Everard Clare? The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a real future, Harry, and proven yourself. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the...
Well done, sire. By guile and deceit, you're in.
Order it. You know my men didn't kill him. They told you. It was a happy accident. You know how it is. No one takes the initiative. If I wanted him dead, I would have had to do it myself. And I'm too fat for that. Glad you asked. I've got type 2 diabetes because sugar and fat was all my mother had to give me and my brother Edgar when we were kids. Good job too, as it made me ugly. And ugly people, Harry, are much better at politics. Why a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. I have. It's a great story, Harry. Did you also know how the bee colony kills the giant hornet? They swarm and blanket it entirely until it suffers a massive heat stroke and dies. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1. And that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them. Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take...
The word fuck rings like a gunshot.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance. Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of it. It's already happening. No idea. Could have been his own mother for all I know. If you ever find the guy...
He really doesn't know. A guy, huh?
I don't. I told you it could have been his own mother. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anyone from the Union. Maybe it was the mob. Or maybe he killed himself because he was a closet socialist. Truth is...
He really doesn't.
2,372. Plus yours truly, of course. Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything. We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez. And to the new... With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasite...
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal one. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some... We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his benefit, and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risk.
And the kids on the street can get speed and...
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share. And I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez. Harry, if I was supplying raw material...
Understood.
You know why you're such a good detective, Harry? You don't get anyway. Let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start business. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body. We're gonna incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's gonna be in on the wealth. And everyone's gonna pull their weight. Yes, if you start thinking about it like that, the socialist municipal body sort of is like... We're way past specific union members now. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on...
There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his...
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me. An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, Word on...
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one he described as terrifying.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your... The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debardeurs Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at...
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
Unfortunately...
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally...
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
Unstable is good, actually. She will be easier to disarm.
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing... You've got a lot of spirit clearing up the drug problem alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city. What? Oh, how could I forget your little side project? Well done, Harry. Well done.
So do I. That's one tasty brew. You should drink some right now, if you can.
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
Truly a lot of legwork. My partner adores these kinds of things.
Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie. Mexican origin. The pin is an antique.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull with 8 eyes.
Oh, you don't want to hear about...
Ramblings. Nonsense.
But, darling, I didn't even get the size of it.
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's
Reflexively, the loop.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on... I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5, the strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing.
She had no...
I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high... I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at... For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly.
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed...
It did, yes.
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my...
Our first, yes.
The glance is tender, yes, but tempered by something else. A thought she can't express, even to him.
Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige, where the camouflage ends.
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably...
I thought it was a wonderful story, man.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just...
No, you don't have any new winning tactics to get the woman to spill the...
I couldn't possibly shower thanks on you. Good. Okay. And? Completely empty?
No locusts?
That's not ideal.
It just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more clever.
Of course, more
Yes. The Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to reconsider.
Another trip to the reeds.
Of course. Be sarcastic. Unless you have an alternative hypothesis. Actually, no. Excuse me for getting emotional. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now. And
Heartfelt gratitude. But some kind of foul play.
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our main investigation here. This has been refreshing.
all right. What crypt...
We would have to discuss. He wants to say, but decides against it.
No offense, officer. Me? I'm not a people person.
This is a gruff man who's been ridiculed too many times to feel comfortable.
Oh, anytime, just ask. I know those critters in and out. Not...
By all means.
Oh, hello, sweetie. So nice to see you again.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. You're chummy. Just go on and ask.
Oh, I'd be delighted. No, it's the cryptid. Oh, yes. the eight-eyed Teratorn,
Mutation? All of evolution is a
until it was sighted by renowned Gotvaldian explorer and naturalist. It happened on a the world's alone. He was lost. Every now and then,
Eat the bird. Uva. It's the only way to survive.
more like he followed it. A bird that big has many liters of blood in it, and he was dying of thirst. For many days, Dr. Ploppenkolb followed the professor, climbed up there.
Watch out.
Then, the Tetatorn, suddenly, the bird was controlling his mind. It kept him from approaching. He could step back, but every time he stepped forward, paralysis. Uva spent 3 days trying until the bird flew away. Absolutely, sweetie.
modern radar tele.
This one I liked. Not only does it have 8 eyes, and is a living fossil, and the largest bird ever to live, it also does mind control.
Sadly, yes.
Not really. It's just stylization. The way they drew eyes.
Very.
This one's very famous. Everyone knows it. People be looking at that tie on you and thinking, that man is into cryptids. That would be the giant. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the Vaskokonur Desert, in South Mirage or Psychogenous. No one knows the towering.
Who here?
That's what makes it so peculiar. There are limits.
Gravity anomaly. Digging it. Digging this parascientific stuff.
Cryobacter can. Yes, the Michanu disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study. No doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. Yes, and she's quite mad, too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging. We can assume that she has been the gnome of Jeroma. Oh, yes. It was. A couple of campers found it still took the gnome.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the... Instead, all the venom leaked. What an interesting question.
Of course. All fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them.
It's the Col de Mamadakwa. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. It could be. As I said, it could be...
Maybe it's predatory.
It's not. Don't worry.
I wouldn't be so sure. What if the damage is also invisible?
That is a sad story. They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mamadakwas. And what happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, dear? No, dear. After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated.
Of course.
I'm glad you did, dear. Plenty. When playing back recordings, the scientists, they realized, sequester time like nothing. It's
Fine, I'll bite.
many scientists have. What about what? Of course, dear.
Can I help you?
What is this thing?
What, the interior decorating kind? You know, I'm sorry. This is actually a nice bird. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess? So, I don't know.
I feel good about our work here today.
No, you don't. It's not happening.
He tries not to look at you. It's dangerous to acknowledge the karaoke man.
The whirling doesn't need more sad style. That's one of the styles it can do without by causing more trouble. I think we're good. It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone use it after the great karaoke catastrophe of '44. A lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke. Okay, yes, it's for some clients. Ha! Well, we don't have any tapes. They all got stolen.
The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape.
Fine, fine. Climb on that stage and do your thing. Just get...
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself. The stage is all set up for you. You feel a little dizzy.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
I can see that.
Immediately, a loud feedback noise startles the room. Hands. Where do you put your hands? The bar is full and buzzing with chatter. No one is paying you any. You're sweating. Just make sure you move, okay? Don't be stiff. The stage is... You feel it?
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
I can see that.
The stage is... You feel...
So, are you ready for your thing now?
The air is thick with anticipation. Someone dims the lights as the music starts. Okay, here we go.
I would often go there. To the tiny church there. The smallest church in San. Though it once was larger. How the realm may rest there. Down through the mist there. Toward the Seven Sisters. Toward those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there. In their tiny yard there. I have been so glad here. Looking forward to the past here. But now, you are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
A lazy applause fills the room. You feel your hands shake as awareness of your body returns to you. This guy really carried you. The lieutenant doesn't say anything. He's incapable of blushing. But if he were...
Good. Are we ready? I want to unplug the microphone now.
Last words? The payphone hangs mutely on the wall. There isn't much... Droplets of rain fall on the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage. Do something important? Something murder related? There's all, even at a standstill, the unibody Caprice Kanema looks sleek and someone has waxed it recently.
You want to take a closer look? 130.
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there.
7.2. Supercharged. Yes, an extraordinary machine.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? But helium headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field a lot.
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to fitting them yet. I need to lay some wiring for the ballast first. Maybe. Yes, definitely maybe.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? I'm afraid they're closed. It says here that the library is open from 10 a.m. to 6.
We should try again.
Anything else, Detective? One moment. Can you please describe the body?
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he...
Any signs of violence? No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly type.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Any information on the library card? Good. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to... I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you? Just a second. Sylvie Malaika on the line. Yes. Hello? Oh, great. What else do you need, Detective? Please, no. Not this again. Everyone saw your cool gun, Detective. You were trying to impress some people with it. Everyone was eating and...
Sounds like it's going to be bad. Do you really?
You were waving it around in everyone's face, begging them to describe it. You said it calms you, and then you started making suicide jokes.
Oh, those again. You know, when you put your gun, your actual gun, on your temple and pretend to shoot your brains out, off of that, people tried to back away from you or even slip out of the door. But you screamed, "I am the goddamned law, and you have to listen to me. You are all suspects in a murder investigation." There is silence on the...
No idea. All I know is next you were waving around money instead, saying things like, big bucks cannot lie, and guns can't buy money, but money can always buy guns. It almost looked like you pawned it, but believe me, I did not ask. Well, you tried to jam it down the toilet, sir, clogging it completely. After I had unclogged the toilet, I am sorry about that. Anything?
You hear the call.
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Right.
10-4, come in. 10-4, sir, glad to hear that.
Feels good to get that off your chest, right? Celebration with beer.
Roger that, 10-10, over and out.
The white suede feels like your fingers waste no time closing around the hand. You feel an uninterrupted connection to the mechanics. After a while, you realize silence is your... Of course it's only in your head. Of course, the smell of freshly treated... I'm good. Cherry at the bottom of the sea. So strange. The machine is not on the bottom of the sea at all. The handle is pulled back. In the cabin, you see as you tap on the...
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They are also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again.
old call box with a matrix of push buttons. You ring the door. Try again.
Thank you for calling the 24-hour window company.
12 name cards on the call box read. All you hear is static, but no one answers the call. You hear the same waiting room music. You ring the door. What an just seeing the words, Andro. You wait for a minute or two, but all you get, silence. No one's home. Silence. No one answers. Nothing happens after you ring the door. Silence. No one answers your call. This button.
Huh. This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet.
You hear this. You ring the door. What an ominous name for just seeing the words, Andro Orlando. All you hear is static. You ring the. Try again. 12 name cards on the call box read. You wait for a minute or two, but all you looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. old call box with a matrix.
Trying to sneak up on me again.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biography.
Slither up to her, you silver-tongued fiend. Show her what world-class perfidy looks like.
Are you sure? Don't think I haven't seen charlatans before. You're no paradetective. You look nothing like one.
Hey now, hey. The lieutenant keeps his usual stony calm. He silently picks out his notebook.
How do you...
Here we go.
I should have realized. A pattern lies within the fabric. The hand... But I am not the only one at risk. I have to think of my daughter. You are certain you can help us?
Oh, certainly so, ma'am. I can assure you my partner.
If you promise, good officer, then you might be our last hope. Do you swear it? Thank you, sir. There's one more thing I haven't told you about yet. The entity...
Do not act surprised. You know of these things, sire.
You have? The entity takes the form of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she must be connected to the curse ever since I first saw her. Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what... Oh, and please do return to me after you've looked round.
You see a set of... You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash.
Oh!
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds. Only a hollowed-out, dark echo. Ow, shoot. Whose moronic idea was it to just run through the door? Don't you know that things like that hurt?
Are you alright?
What is going on there? Are you really trying to... I warn you, don't tempt the spirits, officer.
It barely looks like you've done any damage to the door, however. After exerting some force, you manage to turn the key. An uneasy knot forms in the pit of your stomach.
What is this place? I think you're right. Though it looks like I doubt the electricity still works.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a ray of streetlight falling from the window. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Sounds good.
A barbell lies on its 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
You manage to hoist it off the ground, but the barbell feels wobbly and dangerous.
Weightlifting was never my favorite either. At the station gym, I mean. I prefer running. It clears your head.
This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube.
A radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
What he means is that these things cost money. This is the Ream Civic radio computer.
We have one of these down at the station, but I never really learned.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing it's empty like a beehive without its brood.
This is where the memory should go.
Something's missing. There's no tape in the player. Nothing happens. Something's missing. There's no tape. This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic. History classes. Students with their textbooks open. Radio frequencies, it seems. Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. Perhaps the web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled, Looks Like a Surveillance. They must have had massive airwidth. These things don't come cheap. Someone very important, the leader of a massive on-air game built by a conductor for the hundreds of story threads that passed. Whoever decides to call in, a list of names under the stations suggests people across. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything.
My God, it's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. Exactly. This schedule. I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles. Some of the writing has... These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of Welkin, translucent Welkins, with organs shining under. You should adopt one of those Welkins as your persona. One of the Welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however. It's Vara Hamira, a high Welkin, his face white and scarred. The Haldor, the Tworg.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. Political commentary. That one has a great beard, too. This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real. Just look at those details.
The photo collage depicts barren ice. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, albeit dark and cold. This vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog. A pinned postcard reads, the handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans. The full text reads, Heat death of the universe is the new blood. This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint. It looks a bit like an academic calendar. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer.
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left corner.
Okay, what do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? Yes, that is the...
Like he's ready to lay out a fine theory.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers. Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game. Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to...
His fascination has swept aside other concerns. Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people.
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Grad Messi, but I don't think anyone has attempted... Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately. This game is too...
No idea. They start... Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... It's too late for that, I'm afraid. Okay, let's keep...
Tiles on the cube are still like a smooth draw. The filament slides into place. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard. Oh no. It was already glowing and now it's all... The static gets louder. Slow.
Good evening. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Yes, I am alive. I am 7.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian repeater station. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, Now please tell me the reason for your call, Fortress Accident. The filament you have inserted into the reader. Yes. Is that the production schedule? Good. Please repeat the password. No. Still no. I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait.
Now, can you please repeat the password? Received. I will register this login.
That sounds bad. A login, don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up.
Fortress Accident. Is there anything good? Please receive.
Don't worry.
Fortress Accident. Is there Fortress Accident is the company on whose name? One moment. Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary.
That's not bad.
Any other questions? Thank you and goodbye.
Tiles on the cube are the filament slides out of its glowing nest. Anti-Object Task Force. Behold, the Anti-Object Task Force has assembled. God's avenging angel. You see a terrifying ice bear. This ice bear, the bear looks oddly realistic. The lieutenant doesn't answer. His eyes are a gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear it. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found. The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. A friendly cartoon bear. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be kept. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. No one has used it in ages.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice, the echo is so prominent. It's impossible.
What are you doing? Wait, really? Take your head out of the chimney, please. It's not safe. You're right. The rooms do look like they're
Then what was the chatter you heard? Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow
Hello?
And it's a woman. Of course. The malicious entities are always women.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come up.
You hear a low rumble upstairs. The sound of a...
After you, officer.
A hollow ring goes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
Seems like an old bunker from the There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting.
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs. Rummaging around, you find rusty rifles.
Are these any good?
Most of them are rusty and inoperable. An old Bell McGrave rifle. Revolution.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way. It's the same type of weapon, yes, a breech loader, but it's not the same gun. It means there are firearms, breech loaders, still lying around in Martinez. This could prove useful in our case against Ruby for Titus. Men are easily...
Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly... Something close to you dies with a soft electric purr.
Why did you do that?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. The electric distribution board now has one cable missing. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
You're right.
Then what was the chatter you heard?
Hello, I'm Nia. Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been... So what kind of dye are you looking for?
She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking. Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here.
Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific? I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you...
As she speaks, her bone-like fingers fiddle with a ring. Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Answers? How strange. These days people only come to me for... I'm not sure how helpful I'll be, but go ahead and...
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide.
How did I become one? It was a business decision. Some of my friends were role players. Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customer? Nothing really.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook.
Your window looks directly onto the...
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard. During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been...
She's heard of the murder,
But I never saw anyone during that fateful... I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is... It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside.
this person values focus above all. She keeps...
It's an odd profession, making dice for people.
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides...
Creative.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known that...
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energy spared her somehow? Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex. And then there is me. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing.
It's because she's in cahoots. Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
What, so the curse only affects people with poor work?
The jig is up. The she-demon knows you've uncovered her true identity.
Is it now? I've always thought it's a rather mundane and... Well, if you ever find a way to explain all...
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful. The bookstore closes starting 2100. You'll have to do that tomorrow.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific? Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar.
You wouldn't like it either. A bit of experimenting. It's not about the haircut. It's about the confidence.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet. It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime. Kuno. Who's Kuno? Oh, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth? Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard. I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid. It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse.
You should have known it.
Eventually, the coalition took away the fund. Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that turns out the business was actually set up as a front, and they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea. Yeah, don't. You mean Mr. Fabron?
But what drugs exactly?
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually...
Even you can probably do better than that.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came. The atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists, and, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Really? Anyway. They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted, honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula, or Tiumotiri, or Hashtkor, or wherever the usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds.
Men like that are...
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All they I have no idea.
Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio. They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. One, they certainly took their work very seriously. The usual, they ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some...
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
That's what I thought. Because when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how in the end they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to...
Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
Still, not everyone is going to make it. That's the nature of the game.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die.
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in. The place was owned by 2 guys who had some rather innovative.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine brow.
Fritter does the same thing.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about... And they already had the bear. The bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile... Eventually, Revachol ICT lost the price war to its rival, Class A 5000. Class A 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. You did what? Ugh, of course they left it plugged in. The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast.
Sounds cool. Scary, but cool.
Megatherion, a mega wild beast. It's an imaginary by telling you to do.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved.
Do you? Well, good luck. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream. Anything else? Another failed. Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her then.
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work. You could say so. Both houses were...
If the Whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the Dune commercial area. The darkness...
Yes, I guess so. My advice, don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, it can't be true. They don't work here anymore. Are you sure it was Slipstream SEA? Was it a woman? Oh, right. But did this person say Tricentennial Electrics? It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago. Are you sure
it was too real to be just a prank. Either we're dealing with a professional actress. Whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
A prank is more likely, no? Oh, the kids these days. Sure, I'm listening. I'm pretty sure it still doesn't work, but sure. What do you want to know? It can't be. Are you sure it was Slipstream SEA? Tricentennial. It used to be a...
It was too real to be just a prank. Either we're whatever happened, keep your cool.
Pranks can be eerie. Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them. Why would Slipstream SEA have 100-year-old... I'm still convinced it was...
My money is on electrical anomaly. I've heard of these, especially in an old...
Why would I'm still...
My money is on electrical anomaly.
Sure, I'm listening. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else? Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. I think I have just... You're a police officer, right? Here, catch. They're a gift from me.
Mr. Smooth Moves. You snatch the dice out of the air with one hand, just like you're in a movie.
Oh, what are the odds? The red one is made of bloodstone with a lapis...
She winked back at you. Can you believe it?
You definitely need luck in Martinez. Was there anything else?
Looks like someone tried to reconceptualize this. Look, the skis and rotor blades both bear the same Slipstream logo. It seems likely that they start. That's a good question. Reality is...
I was just thinking, what a Oh.
Did you take the document?
He's trying to throw her off with the bluntness of the question.
No, of course not. As I said, it would have been too risky for me to use those documents anyway. My employer gave them to me.
She doesn't seem to be lying. She's genuinely spooked by their disappearance.
They couldn't know where I put it. I'm absolutely sure. You mentioned seawater? I was worried I'd been too careless with the latch. The documents were probably just washed away.
She looks at chipped white.
Pretty. All right. I like it sudden.
It's you again. What is it?
A sudden flash of lightning in your neocortex. The hostel cafeteria is lit by its airy blaze.
So that's what you were squinting at. You were trying to come up with a...
Yeah, he was cobbling together shit, so he could...
Well, let old Titus set your mind at ease then.
Sunday night, 11:30 to 12:15. She was here all that...
Yeah, with us, drinking, near the stage there.
No.
That's a lie.
All right. She took a fucking leak, okay? For one moment. Maybe went out too. She has an operation to run from her lorry. We're not getting it. And just because she was gone for 5 minutes doesn't mean she magically got to the roof and...
He's been through it. That means, all right, we're in. We got Ruby unaccounted for sometime during the window. This was crucial. Now let's place her on that roof.
Why not? You can't draw us, maybe, from the coast. But like I said, I've been too big. 72%. There's a percentage and all.
Definitely lie. The truth is not credible.
Wouldn't hurt to have one of those in Martinez. Still, all the labs in the world don't put her on that roof. How?
East Delta Pinball Arcade.
Okay, but how'd you get up?
The elevator is outside the building. It's an old dumbwaiter used for moving pinball machines up and down from the workshop. Ruby could have gone up, shot him, come down.
Oh, that's quite the theory.
I'm on it, boss. Right when the law clears, me and Angus are going up.
It's a dumbwaiter, not an industrial lift.
Just now. You got something else to back this route up? Or is that it? Firmly doesn't go well with could've, but a route does not put that bullet in his head.
Phase 2, murder weapon. Get a gun in her hand. If not that, then at least a shadow of a doubt, in the shape of a gun.
That looks antique. A Bell McGrave. It's inoperable.
20, maybe 30 rifles, Titus. Also broken, but still, there were 2.
God damn it. We need to close that dump.
Okay, I see your point. There are guns lying around.
We just missed one. Prove it doesn't know this place, boss. Just these cops digging up shit.
So
it had to come from a breech-loading rifle. Military grade. This goes against your short-range theory. If the murder weapon was military grade.
You just showed him a breech-loading gun.
A broken old broomstick is what you showed me.
Time to really close the deal. Show them the bullets. The blonde man looks at the mushroomed death.
Yeah, the bitch is jacketed all right.
Whoa.
Well, goddamn. It's not proof, but it's a possible murder weapon. Close to her. You have been thorough. I'll give you that. All right. Keep talking.
T, we're not seriously considering it, are we? Ruby wouldn't do this.
Phase 3. Motive. The last component.
And I suppose you have a theory on that.
Think about it. Why go through all that effort? It was her idea, wasn't it?
She had, like, a fully formed plan and shit. Right when she came back downstairs.
Really, Shanks? Claudia wanted to talk to another girl, that's all. She was just the first one up there. I could have come up with that plan.
Time for a logics demonstration.
I didn't do it, fucker!
You probably did, though.
It's just a thought experiment. Think, Shanky. You killed him. You got up there, shot him, cut down.
Fuck you, man! I would...
She didn't either. She would never do that. Why aren't more of you defending her? This...
Glenn, I thought the same thing when she skipped town and left.
Oh, so he didn't rule her out completely. And she skipped town. This is good.
You had expressed, on occasion, your dislike of the
Whack someone in my district? That doesn't carry much favor with Titus Hardy.
Silence. The old man in the corner nods. A very small nod. And a trickle.
Yeah, I see it. There's one more thing I've been wondering about. I don't know where she went. She just got it. She was afraid I would tell you. Maybe she was right. By now.
She knew there's evidence on her, and she knew we'd find it. This is typical suspect behavior. Why fleeing?
Perhaps. Ask her if you find her. It won't be easy, though. She made sure of that. Friday afternoon, when you first arrived, I got word the RCM was in town. I told you. You. Yes, you, the cop with the sideburns and the disco clothes. Sure, the human experiment. You know, when I first saw you limp in here, I thought she was paranoid or sniffing her own supply. But Now I'm not so sure. She said you have a funny taste in clothes, and that you won't until you have something on her. She said she's heard of you from Jamrock, that you're a human can opener.
And then when they're all empty, just move on to the next can. Don't look back.
Fucking hell. Titus, did he just...
Open Angus up like a can? Yes, he did. Now, we can whine about it, whack him, or we can go on with our lives.
Silence. He nods.
You are insistent.
Yeah, there was something else. She wouldn't tell me, though. I could see she wanted to.
Scared. You should be, too.
She's not far. We know that much. She didn't take...
Good fucking luck, man. She knows this...
Yeah, Al. And we...
She's not really a hardy candidate anymore, is she?
She's not, Glenn. A little.
Where have you looked for?
More precisely, on the coast, past the water.
Who's doing this looking? They're all here.
Lizzie needed some air. No one goes to tell Everard anything. He knows what he has to know. Fast. Sure, there are some shithouses there. A cinderblock town. I hear they have a shack where junkies sometimes crash.
We will start there. One more question.
Boyish. Hair's red. Dyed. She looks like a Lowry man. The what now?
She said she's building a
What?
We were talking about radio equipment.
There you have it. Pale something. It'll have to.
His grip is firm and reassuring, like holding a piece of unpolished granite. The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. Dripping water falls from a height. There's rust and corrosion on the bars.
No. I won't even try. I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad. Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter.
His hands lead the way when it comes to that. And his shoulders. The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth.
No idea. We might find her down somewhere. There's notes in conclusion. She could be under any building. I hope not.
Maybe it's just a storm drain for the